Hello and welcome to the Business Show podcast here on Radio Newark 107.8 FM and now across DAB into Nottingham. I'm Simon Gabitas, I'm one of your hosts and I'm joined by Mr. Michael Hardy. Michael, how are you?
Hi Simon, I'm feeling really good today, positive and energised for today's show. Really looking forward to sharing some great bits of information, meeting our guest and hopefully seeing you fail at the quiz.
Excellent. Well, yeah, why not? So, without further ado, what else is happening on today's show?
So, we've got last month's highlights from our business club meeting in September. We've then got an intro to Scott Wrigley of Wriggle Print. Hello, Scott. We'll introduce you in a bit more detail shortly.
Good. Sounds good.
If you're listening to this on air, please go to YouTube and just watch Scott's face. It's a picture. Then we're going to do the big quiz, and Scott's really looking forward to joining Simon on that.
Need all the help I can.
Then we're going to do grants for you from the council, who gives a book, and then look forward to next month's meeting.
Fantastic.
If I could remember the words.
No, sounds good. And of course, we're back in the studio, the new Radio Newark studio. So fantastic to be here.
It is. Back home.
Excellent.
So last month, what did we get up to last month at the business club where we had 90 people, 90 plus people?
93 people, I think. Sorry.
Just for the YMCA, there was 55.
No, we are very transparent. 92, 93 people, I think, which is always great. September meeting, we were sponsored by the team over at Inspire. So that's the team that are over in the Butter Market at the moment. So they were talking about some of their courses, the workshops they do, and some of the events that are going on as well. So great to hear from them. We did the Who Gave a Book. So who gives a book? Who gave it? I gave a book.
You did give a book.
So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail shortly. Our patron sponsor was, of course, Radio Newark. So we got to hear a little bit about the background of Radio Newark, how it was born, what's happening today, some of the future, the exciting bits that's happening. We talked about the fact that it's recently moved on to DAB, so now being played into Nottingham as well, increasing the listener base. And then we had table networking as usual, and we also introduced a photographer. So Nicola Auckland was taking some photos. The idea was we wanted to share some photos from the meetings and just engage more with some of the people in the room. So that went down really well. And as part of that, we've basically agreed that she's going to come and do a bit of a deal, I think in our November meeting. So at the end of that, she's going to do a discount for anyone in that meeting and do some business headshots.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Lots going on.
Indeed. So busy meeting last month. And we're delighted that our committee member section today is with Scott Wrigley. So, Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And this could be a long interview.
Good to see you, Scott. How you doing?
All right, mate.
Good.
So let's start by chatting about being on the committee. So tell us about when you joined the committee, what the reasons were that you were looking to help the club. Why did you join the committee?
Simon made me.
Did he? It was force, was he?
Yeah, he made me join. No, it's having chatted with Simon sort of prior to him becoming chair and stuff. He knew it's something I'd be quite interested in doing and helping out. So here I am, about a year on. Coming on to about a year on, I think. So yeah, I'm pleased to be on board. I like the people that's on the committee, and I'm happy to do what I can to help in any way.
Well, you're certainly a good voice on the committee, and certainly make sure that we're doing the right things for the community and the business world as well. So you challenge us with what we're doing and why we're doing it, which is what we need within that. So appreciate that.
I think so. I think we've talked about this recently, Scott, but one of the things that we were keen to do was just kind of spread out some of the breadth of experience, knowledge and skills that sat on the committee. We want different people doing different things. Obviously, one of the areas that we were quite keen on was the community element of what you do. You've obviously big community champion, huge amount of charity work that you've done, not just over the last year with some of the big stuff that you've done, but again, with part of what we do, having the charity of the quarter, obviously supporting Daniel with that was a big thing as well. But equally, it was it's good to have different people on the committee and different opinions, really.
Yeah, and I think one of the things about being part of the committee is, it's not just a turn up at the meeting or turn up at the executive meeting where we're making decisions. It's ongoing throughout the month. There's a lot of communication that goes on and a lot of decisions. But within that, I think you've also got your own business to run, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about Wriggle Print. Give us a bit of a quick backstory and where you are today.
It's 10 years of Wriggle Print.
Wow.
This
10
year.
years.
And we've been that busy
You can smile, 10 years.
We've been that busy that I actually forgot in March it was our 10th year anniversary. And I always thought, when it's 10 years, I'm going to do something like, I'm going to have an open day and get some bubbly in and invite customers and people and blah, blah, blah. I totally forgot all about that. And I feel like I've left it too late now. But yeah, it's 10 years.
Wow, you've officially said that on radio now, but you probably could have got away with just pushing it back a year and then just announcing it anyway and doing a big 10-year anniversary in March 2025.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not truthful, is it?
All right. Fine, let's celebrate 11. 11 years sounds great.
Yeah, well,
so tell us, because you've got a site. Where's your current premises?
We are on Balderton Business Park. So for those that don't know where that is, if you go down Horton Lane, where Jewson's used to be, that is no longer there. We're behind that on an industrial estate that was built
so
4 or 5 years
opposite Christchurch School, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, so it's
just
up from Middlebeck, up from the Christchurch School. So if you're coming up from Middlebeck, Christchurch, it's on your left-hand side.
Perfect. And that's not your first premises, is it?
No, we was on Smith Street, opposite the Grove Pub for a bit, and then prior to that, I was working from home. So yeah, that's our third premises.
In your bedroom and
bedroom, then garage, then overspilled most of the house, top floor. Yeah, so I had to get out of there.
And I think this is what small business is all about. Is that sort of organic growth from your back bedroom to your garage to suddenly, different premises and keep outgrowing them and keep having to move, which is fantastic. Really great to see.
Well, all I keep seeing is new machines.
Yes.
And just pictures.
Yeah,
of
we've just had a new forehead install last Wednesday. We've had a little bit of issues with sort of staffing this year, so I sat back and looked at what am I going to do? I know that I can depend on machinery because machinery doesn't leave me or doesn't, decide that after a year's worth of training that they don't want to do this anymore, want to become a plumber or window cleaner or whatever they decide that want to do with these young ones. So I thought I'll go and spend a few quid on another machine that just does as I want it to do. So.
And I guess some of the stuff, obviously, I've seen the machines that you're sharing, the pictures. Obviously, you see from the manufacturers that they comment on it as well. But this stuff is kind of industry leading, isn't it? This is the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, when I first delved into embroidery, I had a different brand of machinery, and it was okay until we got really busy, and then it just couldn't handle the sort of workload that was putting through. So a little bit of cost to us. I decided to just get rid of that kit and go and buy like the Rolls Royce of embroidery machines, and it's just the best thing that we ever did. I lost a few quid, but I gained a lot more by the workload that the contracts that we've taken on, the work that we do, the quality of the work, and so on and so on. It's just it's been nice to just not have any issues with the machinery. So that's from that point of view, that's been really good.
No, it's good, and having known you and obviously worked with you and done some stuff through our business. We know that you're a stickler for quality. You've often showed me stuff that didn't pass your quality test, and I'm looking at it going, I thought that was all right. But obviously you've got a high degree of quality in terms of what's allowed to kind of leave the Wriggle Print premises as well. So I guess that matches with the standard that you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, it's because we care. I mean, I wouldn't try and chant stuff because if it's not right, it's not right.
No, it's good to hear.
It's the customer won't say anything other than pretty much bang on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there's just no point. And that's my standards will always be the same. That's what gets ingrained into the staff. Yeah. And that's what goes out the door. We're too small to sort of take the attitude of get it in, get it out, don't care what it looks like. I mean, we wouldn't have repeat business if that happens. So,
and we've talked about it before, Michael, the idea of quality over quantity in various different businesses. Yep. I suppose for people listening, people that either have, may have used your services, but also people that haven't and don't know about your services, give us an idea of some of the products and some of the stuff that you actually do.
Well, we specialise in full colour garment printing and embroidery. So we'll do you one t-shirt, we'll do you 1,000 t-shirts. We can do print and embroidery. We can do print and or embroidery or both. We specialise on contract work. We do football teams. So Notts County is one of our contracted teams. So that's quite nice to have. We've got some quite big blue chip customers that we look after. They're contracted to us. We handle all of their workwear. We ship nationwide. We've got 12 schools on our books that are contracted to us that we look after. So that always keeps us busy all the way throughout the year, as well as like really busy during the summer periods. We do roller banners, pull-up banners, outside banners, but everything which we sell, we do, it's all in-house. So everything, I've got control over everything. We don't take stuff on and ship it out. I only sell what we do, and it's what I can see it being done as well. So I've got total control over the quality.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, great business and thriving in Newark, which is always great to see. So
yeah, it's good. We've got a big foothold in Newark, but there's a lot of people in Newark that don't use us, that should use us, can use us. There's a lot of bigger companies, that come to Newark Business Club that bang on about using local, that should be using local more. I'm not going to mention any names, but within a 25-mile radius, there's nobody that's got the kit that we've got, so you shouldn't be sending it anywhere else.
Sounds good.
It should be coming to us.
And then Scott, I mean, thanks for that on your business, which we know about, and we think is a real success story, as I say, and proud to have you in the business club and in the community. But there's also another part to you. If you're not busy enough already, is it 40-something runner?
Yeah.
Where are you with this now? How many miles? How much money have you raised?
Right. So I've always ran. I've always been a runner. It's always been like under the radar. I'm a bit of a grey man. I've done it for me. But then talking to Katie Gibson from Bereavement Centre and Rachel, who was there, who's now left, I did a charity run for them, and he said, I didn't realise you was a runner. I was like, yeah. And it was just like, we've got 20 years coming, do you want to do something? So we sort of brainstormed. It was like, we'll do 20 years of Bereavement Centre, let's do 20 events, trying to raise £20,000, which was a massive figure. But we did think that it was doable, because some of the challenges were pretty crazy. I did the 20 challenges last year. I was just a little bit under £10,000, so I decided to do 20 for 20 unfinished business this year. So to carry on, we've got it over £10,000 now. Fundraising is really difficult, so we've left it. The page is still open, but we've got over 10 grand. I'm happy at that. It's been hard, and my last run for the Bereavement Centre, for the time being, not forever, was yesterday. So that's finished the 20 for 20 unfinished business.
Before we talk about that, I do feel like we just need to talk about the other run that you did. That was a run that then was in an aeroplane, and then another run. So you ran from your home to where?
I ran from my house in Newark to Langer Airfield, which is like 20 odd mile.
Then you jumped in a plane.
Went in a plane, did a skydive, and then ran 20 miles back.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? After you've just done a skydive.
It's
I mean, for most
day.
people, that skydive is, a big, big thing. You ran there and then ran back. I think that's absolutely incredible. And actually, again, I actually don't know anyone that's done anything like that.
Do you know what? We sort of thought about what can we do, because I did quite a lot of like epic challenges in the 20 for 20s. It's like, right, we need to do something that's like even more different to that. And
at what point after you'd said that and the words came out your mouth did you just think, this is a crazy idea? Quite quickly. I'm not, to be fair, I'm not a massive fan of heights. I've done a lot of skydives, but I don't like heights. So that was a pretty big deal for me. I'm not disappointed, but I thought it would have attracted a lot more attention than it did, as in like people to chuck some cash in. Yeah, but you shouldn't be disappointed. I think we've talked about this before, and I think that the difficulty is
we're
in a small town, and there's only so many times you can go.
Once you've been around people, that's
20 challenges was bonkers. The amount of different things that you did, whether it was a longer run or an ultra marathon, whether it was a half marathon. some of these things were crazy, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. And actually, achieving £10,000, you should be massively proud of yourself with that one.
Just sort of knowing what £50 and £100 sort of donation does and how much it helps them and with counselling sessions and so on. So to get 10 grand for them is brilliant. So
it's an amazing achievement. And you're right. I mean, you've also done it at the cost of living crisis, so at a time where people are spending less money on charities in terms of donations, because all their bills are going up and they're more focused on that, which is understandable. It's not ideal for charities, but that is a real issue right across the board. So to hit 10,000 and above is fantastic. Where can people, if they want to go and throw a few more quid into?
Well, if people would like to, if they've listened to this and haven't donated and have, or would like to donate more because they didn't realise that I've done extra challenges, it's Just Giving page is CBC 20 for 20. It's on my 40-something runner Facebook page and Instagram page, and it's on the Children's Bereavement Centre website as well.
Bro, and I tell you what we can do is when we post this out and do it on the socials, we can actually get some of those links underneath and just mention that as well.
Cool.
Which is great. Obviously, you were just about to talk about the latest event that you did, which I got to share with you. I was going to call you a running buddy at one point, but I was about an hour behind you, so definitely not a running buddy.
Were you ever actually running together?
No.
That's okay.
No, he was at the front with the elite.
No, I wasn't. No.
You were really good. You did it in 1:39 or something. The half marathon. So this is the Robin Hood half marathon, we got to go in the same event, put it that way. You were doing it in 1:39. I was doing it slower and I don't think
you should undersell yourself, Simon.
No,
2 hours 20, I think you said you'd done it in, which is still pretty amazing for somebody that had 3 weeks' notice.
I think I got 4 weeks. Four weeks notice.
4 weeks.
I stepped in last minute, but I mean, I was happier kind of going around and just grabbing some of the jelly babies and Starburst that some of the people were handing out.
Is it also fair that you're the only runner who had 2 numbers?
Yes. Well, no, because I think that was the really special.
Very
runners.
special.
Very special.
Only for special runners.
Very special. Yes. No comment. But no, that was a good event, and it was great to have you doing that. Daniel Otten from Buttercross, who also sits on our committee as well, and we were there with the Children's Bereavement Centre. So we saw Katie from the Bereavement Centre yesterday, and it was a great event, wasn't it? It was good.
It was. I mean, for me, that was the first marathon that I'd ran. I think it was 2021 was the Robin Hood Marathon. When it was marathon and half marathon. So I don't really run road marathons, but I still like to do that one. Because it's nice, and the course has changed over the years, but I just like to do that one. But I was equally proud to see you and Daniel complete that marathon, and I kept saying to you, don't worry about times or anything, neither of you have sort of done that distance. It's a big achievement to run half marathon, it's a big achievement to run 5 or 10k. So the both of you, seeing both of you before and after, I was really elated that it's a big achievement, and
before and after, you know, like broken afterwards and emotionally, physically.
Yeah, but again, it's something. I mean, like today, what a reflection. Yeah. For you, now knowing that you've woken up and said, "Oh, wow, I've done that." You know, what a great feeling.
No, and I think we talk about collaboration a lot on this show. We talk about kind of working together. It felt like actually, again, the Bereavement Centre were there. They were very much trying to look after us. But you as well. I mean, you reached out to me a number of times and went, don't forget you can do it. And it was just that support, that extra. I wasn't doing it alone. And actually, physically I was doing it with Daniel. But actually, what was really interesting going round. I mean, Nottingham itself. Lots of different cultures. Yeah. But every corner you turned, there would be, a Caribbean band with drums. There was a brass band with a trumpet, and then you go around the corner and someone had a speaker playing drum and bass, and there was probably not 200-300 meters without support, was there? So it was great to do, and obviously great to have a few people from the Newark Business Club committee do it as well.
Yep, definitely.
Well, congratulations to the pair of you for doing that. Really well done, and Scott, really appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, no problems.
But Scott, you're not going yet, right?
No.
What's next, Michael?
So next is the Business Show Big Quiz.
And that's why you're not going, Scott, because I need a hand.
We really, really, really need you to help Simon, with this.
Because it doesn't matter what I learn or what I start to think about during the week, Michael will always try and catch me out.
A couple of podcasts ago, he started actually reading up about business news and then realised it was pointless.
No, I tend to read, but just for clarity, I read business news all the time, but I tried to think about something current and tried to actually think about what Michael might ask, and it's just no point, so who knows, hey? Let's find out.
Okay, here we go. Question number one. What has ended after 142 years of service to the UK?
Oh, steel. Tata Steel. No?
No.
Good guess, though.
No, that is sad, though. I've worked at Port Talbot. Did a lot of work over there before, but that's sad. 142 years. I don't. Is he? Michael, I don't know.
Pass.
And this has been on Radio Newark's news, BBC News all day today. Today is the end of 142 years of coal-powered fire.
Sorry, Michael. What is today?
It's International Podcast Day. It's electricity from burning coal for 142 years, and the last one closes today.
Wow.
And that's Radcliffe on
say,
Soar, which is the.
I didn't know about that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it.
So and that's been running since 1967.
Wow.
I can remember going to that place on a field trip with school in year 4 in senior school.
What was that, about
shortly after 1967?
1968?
Not quite. Early 90s. We'd gone there, and it was quite interesting actually. Like scary, because when you go, you've got to go up in one of the towers and look up into it, and it's just like, whoa.
So we've been having coal-free days since 2017, so where they've not had to use the coal to make electricity. But we've now got the renewables really moving forward. So in 2010, only 7% of the UK's power was renewable generated.
Okay.
And by the first half of this year, it's now more than 50%.
Okay.
Which is obviously really positive.
Very positive news.
And that means now we can turn off the coal-powered station.
Yeah, that one.
Coal-fired power station, anyway.
Bro.
Yes, so that's question number one. Question number two, quick-fire question. What date is Labour's first budget planned for?
It's soon, isn't it? Tomorrow? Is it November?
No.
We don't know, Mike. Is the answer to that? We don't know. Tell us, Mike.
It's the 30th of October.
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
As in... Oh, hang on. We're in September, aren't we?
It's September. It's October.
Yeah, okay. Right.
So the end of October.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, there's a lot of noise about what's going to happen at the budget, and I think for all business owners it's important that we take a breath, listen to what's in the news, and then find somebody within the political arena or the news and get the download of what it really means to you as a business, because I'm sure there'll be lots of changes from that date. Or into the next year when it comes out.
Waiting with bated breath. To see
there is going to be changes.
But there is going to be changes because we've got a new
updates.
government, and therefore it will. And, things like minimum wage, the living wage as they now call it, those sort of things which have a huge impact on businesses.
Massively, especially for small businesses.
Exactly.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
Okay, question number 3. What law change comes into effect on the 1st of October that will have the greatest impact on the hospitality industry?
It's not the smoking outside, is it?
No.
Is that? No.
That was only being talked about.
Good, because that's not the best, is it? I don't smoke, but I don't think that would be the best for...
Well, it's from a hospitality point of view, it's another issue for them.
I don't know, Michael.
So,
come on, some easy ones.
Where's the fun in that?
What day is it tomorrow or something like that?
We're not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
restaurants from the 1st of October will be banned from withholding tips for staff.
Okay.
So
I didn't realise they could do that.
Yeah, so quite a lot of you'll see. I mean, over the years, it's changed quite considerably, and they've got they put service charge. Quite a lot of places will put service charge automatically onto your bill, and it'll say if it's discretionary, so you can tell them, but generally people don't. And a lot of restaurants have used that money to actually pay the wages, so they don't give that service charge over and above. They use that to give them
wages.
But that's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, and I guess there's a big change in how we pay for stuff as well. Historically, lots more cash.
Yeah.
Now we're paying by card, phone, watch, however you want to pay.
Yep.
And I guess that behaviour changes tips as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly think you notice it where the restaurants, when they come with, you're paying with your phone or as you say, your watch, and they come with a card machine, and they just give you the card machine with the full figure on it. And they don't give you the opportunity. And how many people walk around with cash? People just don't, do they? It's not something people have in their pockets.
So this sounds fairer. This sounds
absolutely. I mean, there's 2 million workers in the hospitality industry, and they reckon that about £200 million a year was in service charge last year. So what it will mean is that restaurants will have to review how they charge and what they will have to think about their pricing, because of course it's if they were using it for the staff wages, then they're still going to have that money coming in, so they're probably going to have to put the prices up. But at least you're seeing the real value, and I'm sure, and I would have said in a lot of cases, if I see a service charge on there, I don't give a tip, because I'm thinking, well, I'm paying 12.5% service charge, so they're getting a tip.
But
and yet
equally,
they're not.
If you were to leave a tip in your head, you're hoping that tip is then, I mean, in most cases, it's for the person that has gone above and beyond, and you've got or given you the service that you expect. I mean, in some cases, going above and beyond, you maybe give even more of a tip, but you kind of expect that to go to the person.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there we go. That's this month's quiz.
Yeah, 3 out of none.
That's
none out
just
of
3
3
questions.
Would you want more? I mean,
we can do some more.
I thought there'd at least be like an easy one. You could get one right. Come on.
This is if Michael gets the point where I've got nothing right, then he's happy. That's his.
I think
he's
there
good
should
for the
be
week.
a role reversal.
He has done.
We did.
You do the quiz on him.
We did do that once.
And how did that fare, Simon?
Well, he wasn't my friend.
He got 3 out of 3.
No, I can't remember what happened, but we did do a reversal. It felt good for a short period of time, and then I just thought, let's go back to what we do normally, and I'll just get some questions wrong. But I suppose the whole point of it as well is to just give a bit of an insight into certain things that are happening that are going to affect businesses that we can talk about, and a bit of a conversation starter. So although we got 0 out of 3, Scott, we can still be proud that the people listening to this podcast got to hear some valuable information. That's you know me, I will take the positives out of everything, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. So Scott, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you at the October business meeting.
Thank you very much, Scott Wrigley from Wriggle Print.
Goodbye.
Right, that was great having Scott Wrigley on. So Michael, what is up next?
So next we've got grants for the memories. So
grants for the memories.
Will Parkinson from Newark and Sherwood District Council provide us with 3 different grants each month.
I'm going to get you some new teeth.
Thank you very much. I know they're not working today. So I was going to say Scott, but Will has provided us three grants, and as we say always, these might not be relevant to you. But the great thing about Will and the council is they've got all the grants in one place. You give them your details, what your business is, how many people work for you, what sort of things you're looking to do with your business, and he will come up with any opportunities for grant support that is out there. So this just gives you a flavour, which you always find, I get these through and I sort of read them and go, oh, that's interesting, and quite often ping them out to some clients or other people I know in the business community to go, did you know about this? And so it's really interesting.
Like you say, that's the idea. If it's not for you, it might be for someone else. Share it around.
Exactly. So The first one is called Realising the Remarkable.
Okay.
So is a cash grant provided by Enterprise Nation and Vistaprint. Through it, 20 small firms will win cash prize alongside marketing and design support to help their business thrive. So 20 small businesses will receive £3,000 each, a free subscription for 12 months to Vista Centre Pro, Vista's graphic design software, and £500 in credits to spend on Vistaprint. To qualify, they must be registered UK business with a UK bank account, trading at least 3 months, and have less than 10 employees. That's really important. The deadline for application is the 31st of October, and if selected for the shortlist, you'll be contacted in November to give a 2-minute pitch.
Sounds good.
So
helping small businesses.
Exactly. With £3,000, which we know every penny of support is always gratefully received.
Sounds good.
Second one is Flexible Plastic Fund. Supports available to UK businesses to incentivise their recycling of flexible plastic items, including bags, wrappers, films, pouches, packets and sachets. An estimated, and this is scary, 895,000 tonnes of flexible plastic packaging is placed on the UK market each year. Only 7% is collected and recycled.
Wow.
So the idea of the fund is to get retailers, consumers, manufacturers and recyclers to collaborate and boost the amount of flexible plastic being reused. It's a discretionary support. So if you if your business uses flexible plastics or any of those things that were mentioned before, then contact them through the Flexible Plastic Fund website, which we'll be more than happy to give you details of, and they will talk to you about what they can do to support you to support them.
Okay.
Which is great. So good for sustainability and for reusing of items.
Yeah.
The third and final one is a slightly larger grant opportunity, but doesn't make it any less relevant. And actually for businesses out there who are looking to grow, then this is a really big support. So it's from the Business Growth and Innovation and for Job Creation in the East Midlands. It's administered by the University of Derby, aimed at SMEs in a variety of sectors, so manufacturing, life sciences, construction, logistics, engineering, technology, creative industries and low carbon. And the fund will cover things from land and building costs, equipment, operating costs, costs associated with training, and it's a minimum award of £15,000 for 70% funding. So the project must be £50,000 or above.
Yep.
Expressions of interest are being accepted on an ongoing basis. They expect demand to be high, so success cannot be guaranteed. And the funding can come as a mix of grant and loans. You can express your preference in the application process. But, if you are looking to do some big work within your business, and you're going to do that anyway, to get 30% of it funded, then why wouldn't you look for that support? And University of Derby are managing that for the local region.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you again to Will. We'll again share his information around, but we did say as well it'd be good to see Will on the podcast at some point. He can come and deliver some grants himself.
Yeah, I've had a chat with him and he's up for coming and actually
good.
reading them
That'd
out.
be good.
Means I can put my teeth away again.
No, it'd be good. But no, thank you very much, Will. Obviously, the Economic Growth Team at Newark and Sherwood District Council for all the support and all the information that they send across. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Okay, next section is Who Gives a Book, Simon. So give us a bit about last month's books.
Who gives a book? So I've actually got the copies here because, they got delivered and then they got lost, I think, in the office somewhere. So they went upstairs to a different business. And by the time it was a business club meeting, I'd ordered another set. So I've got 2 sets. So we had The Miracle Morning, which was the 6 habits that will transform your life before 8 a.m. by Hel Elroyd. So I actually read that myself. What was interesting at the last meeting was after all the videos that you've done from lots of sunny locations, I actually did Who Gives a Book from Tenerife. I recorded that while I was away in the summer and had these books and read The Miracle Morning. So definitely recommend that one. And the other one was Range, How Generalists Triumph in a Specialised World by David Epstein. So again, 2 books. We gave both of those out at the meeting, which was great. We've got another couple of books actually to give away at the October meeting, but it's all going well at the moment. We've given away, I reckon, probably 30 plus books so far doing it. So and actually, as we said, I think on one of the last podcasts, the idea is being shared by other business clubs locally as well. So I think there's some other business clubs in the Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire area that are now starting to give books away. So share the ideas around. It's all good fun.
No, and at the end of the day, collaboration and good ideas are, should be shared around. I think it'd be interesting to maybe, because one of the things you talked about right at the beginning was once you've read it, pass it to another member. So maybe we should think about getting everybody who's had a book, bringing it back to maybe one of our sessions and then sort of passing it on. And
we did. I mean, we joked at the start. We kind of said actually it would be quite fun to put a library, like the old school library card you used to get, the printed one. So you kind of have your name in there almost, and you kind of pass it on, and you can almost see the process and who it's gone to. And we like the idea of that. And we have always said, look, I mean, there'll be books that I've read that you haven't, you have that I haven't, and it's about sharing those nuggets of information. And I mean, genuinely, there are books that I've read that have just changed the way that I look at certain things or changed the way I do certain things, and it's I think there's lots of scope for kind of sharing that around the room. So let's try and do that.
Give me an idea for our Christmas meeting. Everybody bring a book and share a book with everybody as a present for Christmas.
I've had similar ideas and similar kind of conversations with other people about how we can, I mean, it helps me get rid of some of the library of books that I've been donated since we started doing this over a year ago. But no, it'd be good. I think again the whole point is to share information around. So let's work on that one.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, a great idea of yours, and it's great to see it growing and thriving. Next, we're going to talk about the Action Group.
Yep.
So after having a summer off, we had our meeting in the Organ Grinder in Newark, which is always a great venue, and they look after us royally. We can't thank them enough for giving us the Monkey Room, which is very apt for a meeting that we run on a Monday evening. And I think we cover, as ever, planning, transport, retail, and look at what's going on in and around Newark. So one of the things that it's fair to say is, from a planning perspective, it's very quiet at the moment. There's still not a lot going on with planning for businesses, which tends to demonstrate the lack of investments or confidence in investing in our properties locally. And one of the things the one thing that was in this month's was another HMO request on Stodman Street, which is about putting rooms above retail, which in itself is a good idea because it starts to bring more people into the town centre living, etc. One of the challenges is, have we got the facilities to actually support that? We've had 4 requests this year already. One of the things that the guys and myself talked about was, so where do the bins go? I know that sounds, but you've got a market, an old market town. There's not lots of places for bins, and if you've got more and more people living in town, you're going to have more and more rubbish that needs collecting. And the last thing you want is more and more bins just sort of on the street. So that's something that we're sort of talking to the council about and working. But
it does sound like there is open conversation and dialogue between lots of people, including the council, on how hopefully some of that can get moved forward. And I know it is an area that potentially can help within the town. So hopefully some of that stuff can get looked at.
Absolutely. And we discussed, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about Homebase closing down, and the plans for Sainsbury's who are owners of Homebase to come in and replace them. Interesting that they've now had it formally confirmed they will have to put planning permission in before they can do the work. So we'll be interested in seeing that. And obviously, we're all for having businesses come into our market town and hopefully bring jobs, but also people into the town. But we just want to make sure that it's not adding problems and adding something more positive, which is always the worry with that type of area, with the cars and access, etc.
Yeah, I know there's a kind of lot of open conversation about it. There's lots of people that have commented when some of the kind of local press and what have you have kind of gone out with those news stories. It's got to be talked about, and I think it's got to be the right decision. And yeah, the good news is it's going to be looked at. So rather than it kind of just happening, there's going to be dialogue and conversation and people actually having a look at what's the best solution.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In terms of transport, so we're continuing to work with EMR and the East Midlands Railways on the Nottingham to Lincoln stakeholder board, which we've seen real positive steps over the past couple of years and continue to do that. Bob Pointer, who has been a long advocate and supporter of the business club from a railways perspective, contacted me because he'd picked up some information about some changes to LNER and the timetable moving forward, which we're now, with Bob's support, going to write to LNER just to ensure we understand what the proposals are and how they affect us. So we understand that there are going to be changes ongoing to all our timetables. That's natural. Mm-hmm. And the evolution of the railways, obviously with HS2 being changed in how it's providing, etc. So we're onto that as well. And then something a bit different, actually. There were the Heritage Society for Newark. One of their members comes to the meeting, and he said that they'd been in talks with Nottingham Trent University, and they've agreed for 80 second-year architectural students to use Newark for one of their projects.
Okay.
And it's about bringing a museum to Newark. So they're wandering the town, looking at all the sites, looking at all the spaces, trying to work out what's the best, how it would work. So we're going to have 80 architectural students on a regular basis in and around the town, building a project for a museum. So one of the things I did say was, as they progress, it'd be really interesting maybe for them to come and present at the business club. Mm-hmm. As they're sort of nearing the end of it, because for their perspective it will be great for their development, but also for the business club to see the sorts of things that are being proposed. So and I know Peter spoke to the guys at NTU and they were really up for that type of support and experience. So watch this space.
And if you're in hospitality and you see lots of students wandering around, then go and sell them some cakes and some coffee.
Absolutely.
But no, that is good news, and it's great that they're showing an interest. And we, I've said this before, me and my wife, prior to kids, kind of, wandering around the country trying to find historic market towns, and then realised that we lived in one. So you sometimes take it for granted, but actually we live in a great place and there's lots to show off. So no, that's really, really positive news.
Absolutely. And 80 students from Nottingham coming into Newark and learning about Newark and undoubtedly
telling more people.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So the October meeting's on the 28th, Monday the 28th, 6 p.m. at the Organ Grinder. So please come and join us and give us
half
some
a pint.
support. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe even an orange juice.
Yeah, why not?
Brilliant. So this month's meeting, Simon, what delights have we got to look forward to?
The October meeting. So the October meeting is sponsored by the team over at Beaumont House. So they're going to be giving us some updates on obviously what's happening there. I think there's a few events that are coming up as well that they're going to talk about. We're going to be hearing from one of our patron sponsors. So the guys that were on last month's podcast, the team from Reflect Recruitment. So they're going to be talking and giving us a bit of a background on their story. There's going to be table networking, so an opportunity for people to just give us 60 seconds around the table, a bit more about who they are, what they're all about, and why they do what they do, why people should buy from them. We're going to hear from you with an action group update, so people will get some more of those updates. And then we're going to have a new thing that we put in last month, so it's the member spotlight. So the idea was, we said we would pick a business card out at random. In fact, no, we didn't do a business card, did we?
No.
This is
booked on.
It was, yeah. So the idea is, if you've booked on prior to the, I think 5 p.m. on the Wednesday before the meeting, we would collate all that information for the people, and we would get a live name drawn on the screen.
Yep.
That person would then get 2 minutes at the following meeting as a bit of an extended kind of, what people do at the table networking, but in front of everybody.
Yep.
So 2 minutes to tell people a bit more about them and their business. So we have, hopefully, Wendy Goldengay from Goldengay's Family Law and Mediation that won that draw in the September meeting. So we'll have 2 minutes hearing from her in the October meeting.
Excellent. And when do you have to have registered for this month's meeting to be in the draw?
So that would be the Wednesday. So Wednesday...
so that's the 2nd of October.
Yes.
So, of course,
2 days.
This is going out on the 4th, so therefore it'll be the November meeting.
Yeah, and I suppose the idea is, we've said it before, the idea of booking in advance, we were trying to drive that really for a number of reasons. I mean, one of those is it gives us a bit of an idea of how many people are going to be there. If we've got that foresight, we can plan. We can give guidance to the YMCA venue on, how many people are going to be there, how much tea, coffee they need to put out, how many breakfasts they might have to plan for. And it's just, it's good to have that kind of foresight as a committee as well. We know how much resource and support we need to put in certain areas because, as we know, there's a lot of coordination and organisation that happens behind the scenes before those meetings. So it helps with some of that for us as well. So that was one of the other ideas. But it was another way of people in that room finding out about more people in the room. We want to share stories. We want people to understand more about businesses and what they do. And hopefully this drives and continues to drive further connections and collaborations. So all part of the wider plan.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. And so we're nearly at the end of today's podcast. So just want to touch on new website.
New website
brief.
Absolutely. So in the September meeting, we did say that we are looking to get a new website at Newark Business Club, and we have asked any interested parties to email us. So you can email us at the chairman@newarkbusinessclub.co.uk. We've got a brief document. When I say brief document, I mean it is a brief document. It's I think it's 3 or 4 pages, but it just goes over what we're looking for, what the objectives are, what we're looking to get out of it, and we've also got a design set of information that you can kind of take away. So you've got those kind of brand guidelines to work with as well, so you understand what we're doing. So there's a whole range of stuff that we want to add into there, some new functionality. We've had a website now for, I guess, the last kind of probably 7-8 years, maybe longer. So this is an opportunity for us to refresh and bring it up to speed. So if you are interested, we have had a number of people contact us already that have got that brief, and we are asking for anyone, like I say, to email us if they want us to send that brief across. We'll be closing the deadline for that is the Friday the 11th of October, and we'll be going through all the applications and people that have put some stuff forward for that. So,
perfect. Great stuff. So that's it, I think, for this podcast. I was trying to think of something to say just to get you thinking a bit differently as I finish off as usual, and I want to sort of say, are we learning from failure? Because we all want to be positive, and we're all trying to, put that positive mindset and look to the positivity. But failure is not always bad, and are we learning from it? So when we don't win that contract, when we don't aren't successful in a tender, when we make a mistake with a client, do we learn from it? Because learning from failure actually can be more powerful than learning from success. So are you actually challenging yourself to learn from failure?
I think it's a great point. I think it's something that we should do. Personally, in bigger businesses that I've worked in, yes, we did. We had that kind of full drains up. Right, what worked? What did you've got?
Absolutely.
I mean, you talk about it. What worked well? What didn't work well? What do we do better next time?
Exactly.
But it is that opportunity to go, right, how do we do something differently? And actually, probably a lot of small businesses maybe don't do, but what a great opportunity to find out what you can do better. So no, I like that. Can we learn from our failures?
Yeah, and the problem with small businesses, it sort of hits at the heart, doesn't it? Because it's so yours, so therefore
very emotional. It
is, absolutely, and therefore sometimes that emotion can cloud your judgment. So learning from failure is so important for us all. So anyway, so that's from me today.
Great stuff.
Really enjoyed podcast. Really enjoyed getting to understand Scott a bit more and
Yep.
hopefully sharing some news for you guys out there. So thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. See you next month.